Perfection is the enemy of success, said Winston Churchill. Obviously, he wasn't talking about content creation, but he might as well have been. Too many people waste countless hours striving to make the first piece of content perfect. Now, let me be crystal clear about something. Perfection and accuracy are not the same thing. You must be 100% accurate if you're giving any sort of advice or instruction. Think of a chef who posts a recipe for cooking, calling for a cup of salt instead of a cup of sugar in a recipe for cookies. They would lose all their credibility with anyone who sees that particular piece of content, and that those people would not look at anything else from them. Now, mistakes happen. If something like that does get away from you, fix it the moment you realize it if you can. And if you can't, take that piece down. You can always repost it as a new piece of content with the mistake corrected, never mentioning the first piece at all. Lesson learned. Accuracy matters. This might be the only part of your content creation where you need to be 100%. Now back to Churchill's insights on perfection. Whether you're writing a blog post, making a video, your first one will just not be as good as your 100th or your 500th. Hopefully you'll get a little better with each piece of content you create, but you have to start somewhere. It is often said that you need to write 1 million words before you can get to be a good writer. That's right, 1 million. For many, that may be overstating it, but you get where I'm going. Certainly, you're not going to throw out the first million words you write. In his book, Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell theorized that you needed to put 10,000 hours to become an expert at many things. You certainly aren't going to spend 10,000 hours trying to learn video editing before publishing. That's the equivalent of 5 years working 40 hours a week. Lesson learned. Make your content as good as you can while keeping an eye on the clock. What I mean is, don't rewrite something 10 or more times. Once you get going, you'll be able to create something once, review it a second time, and then move on. If you're just getting started, maybe go over it an additional time or two. Which brings me to my own theory about content creation. Content creation is won with a series of singles, not home runs. So by focusing on getting as much accurate, solid content created, you'll ultimately win the content creation game. And that's the beauty of content creating. You don't have to be an expert of one of the most successful YouTubers. Today, he's got over 200 million subscribers and a business empire that far exceeds his YouTube reach. And do you know what he says? With each video, try and get 1% better. Oh, I haven't told you who this content creator is. His name is Jimmy Donaldson, and you may know him by his YouTube handle, Mr. Beast. He is quite generous in sharing the considerable expertise he has amassed in his YouTube journey. Now that doesn't seem too difficult, does it? With each piece, try and improve one thing, 1%. Maybe edit better, create better titles, write better hooks, incorporate more examples, etc. While it would be wonderful if you were able to create a best-selling book or a viral video with your first efforts, but the odds against this are huge. So wrap up those singles by producing more quality content. Lesson learned. With each piece of content you create, try and make it a tiny bit better than the last. This is a great segue into the next insight, which comes from the company Nike. I'm guessing you know what it is. It's their tagline. Just do it. You don't have to be a full-time creator from day one. In fact, if you quit your job to become a full-time creator with no steady source of income, you'll be putting tremendous pressure on yourself. In fact, if you quit your job to become a full-time creator with no other steady source of income, you'll be putting tremendous pressure on yourself, and who needs that? Life has enough stress in it without you creating extra stress for yourself. So if you're currently employed and considering content creation, start while you still have that steady stream of income coming in. Trust me, it will be a lot less stressful. This works particularly well if you're going to create content around something completely unrelated to your current position. But even if it is, that doesn't mean you can't create it. Just don't reveal company secrets or strategies. Even better, talk about the ideal way a process should work without mentioning the company at all. Some, especially large and or privately owned companies, have some sort of restrictions about employees taking second jobs, which content creation might be seen as if you're earning any income from it. But a few postings on LinkedIn, Facebook, which is now Meta, etc., or an occasional YouTube video shouldn't upset most, and many won't care at all. Lesson well learned. The key takeaway here, before I digress, is to just get started. Start creating and posting. Most experts will tell you that your first 100 videos will be kind of awful. And I can tell you, when I look back at mine, they weren't the greatest. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't create them, because the only way to get to that 101st video is to create the first 100. And some of them might not be that bad. And if I'm going to be totally honest, my audience kind of liked those videos, or at least they liked the information that I was sharing. Now, I want to move on and share some advice from my 8th grade teacher, which all content creators should vehemently ignore. That's right, ignore. Sister Agatha Christie, okay, her name wasn't Agatha Christie, but the first part was Agatha, and for the life of me, I can't remember the second part. Anyway, she used to say, "I don't chew my cabbage twice." She'd scream that at us whenever anyone asked her something she felt that she had already covered. She was trying to get us to pay attention. But as a content creator, you should do the exact opposite, especially if a piece of content has done particularly well for you. When something works, focus on that topic. Your audience is interested in it. Repeat it in slightly different formats and make related content. 3 of my top 10 best videos, and by best, I mean the ones that are getting the most views and earning the most advertising revenue, were on the basics or fundamentals of accounts payable. One is 17 minutes long, another is 52 minutes long, and the third is 3.5 hours long. And these are definitely not the ones that I put the most time and effort into. The 52-minute one was produced when I was running out of time one day. I had wanted for some time to put up a longer video on YouTube to see how it would do, but hadn't had the time to put one together. I had heard that they were doing well, and so I thought, let me test this out on my channel. For not everything the experts recommend will necessarily work for you in your niche. So you need to test everything for yourself. Anyway, I looked through my old PowerPoint talks, another thing experts frown upon, putting up PowerPoints, and I dragged one out I had done a few years earlier on the fundamentals of accounts payable. I quickly updated it and recorded it and did a quick and definitely not perfect edit and uploaded it. And right out of the gate, it was a hit. 2 years later, it is still garnering at least 100 views a day. Lesson learned: when something works, double down. For whatever reason, that topic resonates with your audience. And sometimes it's not easy to figure out what that's going to be. And do it as quickly as you can. The beauty of content creation is you never know which piece of content is going to resonate with your audience. But be ready when one takes off to create more just like it, more related to it, and you'll have your audience coming back for more and more. If you're considering content creation as either a path to growing an existing career, which is definitely a way to go, or as a side hustle, or perhaps eventually having it become a full-time endeavor, click on the link that has appeared on your YouTube screen and is in the description. It will provide you with the latest insights on becoming a more successful content creator. Good luck.